All right, let's dive in. If you're going into public service, you're all about solving today's problems, right? So why on earth should you care about history? Well, we're about to show you why the past isn't just old stories. It's one of the most powerful tools you'll have for understanding the here and now.
So, hey, welcome to our little study group for PP 5340. We're digging into Chapter 1 of Essential History for Public Administration. Let's get right to it, starting with the big question that's probably on your mind.
And this really is the big one, isn't it? I mean, public administration is all about finance, management, real-time policy decisions. It's so easy to think that stuff that happened centuries ago is totally irrelevant. But the whole argument of this book is that you simply can't understand today's challenges if you don't trace back how we got here in the first place.
To see why that's true, we've got to start with this fundamental conflict that's right at the heart of American culture. It's a paradox that every single person working in government has to deal with. Here's the core tension. It's kind of wild when you think about it. Americans seem to really distrust the idea of government in the abstract, but at the exact same time, we absolutely rely on the specific things it does for us. And here's that contradiction laid out perfectly. On one hand, you have the cultural view. It's that gut feeling that government is wasteful, it's intrusive, it's just bureaucracy. But then there's our experiential view, our actual lives. We might hate big government, but we sure do value our Social Security checks, we love our national parks, and we definitely depend on Medicare. We're living this paradox every single day. You know, this cultural view got a huge megaphone in modern politics. President Reagan's famous line from 1981 didn't invent this feeling, but wow, did it capture it perfectly. And this skepticism, it's not new. It has roots that go all the way back to the country's founding. So, how do we make sense of all this? Well, the book gives us a super practical toolkit, 4 enduring themes that pop up again and again throughout American history. Let's think of them as 4 different lenses you can use to analyze pretty much any public policy issue you'll ever face. First up, the constant tug of war between public and private interest. You'll see this everywhere. Is this new policy really designed to help the whole community? Or is it kind of tweaked to benefit a specific company, a specific industry, or a small group of people? This tension is at the heart of the job. Second, we've got a fear that's basically baked into the American DNA, the concentration of wealth and power. Seriously, from the founding fathers worrying about factions to today's debates, there's always been this deep-seated concern that if too much power, money, or political clout ends up in too few hands, it's a real threat to democracy itself. And just look at how relevant this is right now. The original Gilded Age had these huge industrial monopolies, railroads, oil, and massive inequality, which then led to the big government reforms of the Progressive Era. Sound familiar? Today, people are calling our time a new Gilded Age, with all the debate swirling around giant tech companies and global finance. History isn't just repeating here. It's giving us a direct playbook to understand our world. Okay, our third theme is one you hear on the news literally every single day: the size and cost of government. How big should it be? How much are we willing to pay in taxes? Is the national debt spiraling out of control? This debate is a permanent feature of American politics. It never goes away. And when you're in that debate, here's a crucial piece of context. Despite all the talk about high taxes, the overall tax burden in the U.S. as a percentage of our economy is actually way lower than the average for other developed countries. We're at 24% compared to their 34%. But here's the other side of that coin. While our taxes are relatively low, our national debt is enormous. And this creates that fundamental tension, right? We have a public that wants services, but a culture that really dislikes the taxes needed to pay for them. And the final theme in our toolkit is this powerful struggle between insiders and outsiders. This is all about the long and often really painful fight by different groups to gain the full rights and protections of citizenship, to overcome discrimination. For anyone in public administration, this connects directly to a core value we call social equity. This struggle has been absolutely central to the American story since day one. We're talking about the experiences of Native Americans, African Americans, waves of immigrant groups, women, LGBTQ+ people, and so many others. This theme reminds us that the fight for a more just and inclusive country is one of the defining features of American history. Okay, so we've got our analytical toolkit, our 4 lenses. Now, the book lays out a roadmap to see how these themes actually played out over time, focusing on these key moments of really intense change.
The historian Arthur Schlesinger had this great way of describing American history. He said it's like a cycle, a pendulum swinging back and forth between times when we're focused on public purpose and working together, and times when private interest and individual goals are the main focus. It's not a straight line, it's more like a series of waves. And you can see these big bursts of public purpose when that pendulum swung hard in these four game-changing eras. Each one was a period of crisis and massive change that completely reshaped what government does in America. And seeing this pattern brings us to one last, really critical question. And that brings us right back to today. This is the whole point of studying this history. If we accept this idea of cycles, then you have to ask, what cycle are we in right now? Looking at the world around you, are we in a period dominated by private interest? Or are we maybe building toward a new era of public purpose? Understanding the past gives you the tools to start answering that question for yourself.